welcome everyone. This is very exciting. My name is Sebastian Echeverri, and I'm here with Isa Betancourt of Bugscope fame at the American Arachnological Society 2021 virtual meeting Q&A live stream. This is so much fun. This is the first time we've done anything like this. Isa, say hi, and who is your amazing friend there?
Hi, everybody. So excited to be here and chatting all things arachnids with you. I'm here with Dr. Joanne Thackeray, who is my Chilean rose hair tarantula, who will be joining me and Sebastian today, and all of you to answer the questions and take a look at the photos, or feel the vibes of the photos and the observations that have been submitted in the BioBlitz.
Yeah, I'm very jealous because my tarantulas are currently buried in their tunnels and not wanting to come outside.
Can't blame them.
So I'm glad that yours is available. So this is a really fun event. If I've set everything up right, and that is again question mark, this should be live streaming on the AAS YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook group. I'm going to do a quick check to just make sure that that is a thing that is happening.
Does it say, Sebastian, does it say you're multicasting 2 running at the top of the screen above the
Yes, it
participant?
says 3 running, which is perfect.
That's
the
good.
right number.
Yeah,
I just want to make
excellent.
sure this is Sebastian's sanity check because
right.
I don't trust that things are happening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is, so I have a question about who this spider is again. This is Thackeray, for short, a Chilean rose hair tarantula who's joining us on the broadcast, this special edition for the American Arachnology Society 2021 virtual BioBlitz Q&A session.
It's a very long title.
Yes. Packed with
Let's just call it
fun.
the Arachnids 21 live stream or the AAS live stream.
Okay, there we
because
go.
I have a feeling we might say it several times and we're gonna
Sounds good.
Save us the mouthful. So this is a fun event for us because Isa and I love to talk arachnids with each other. We do it every month over on her streaming channel, the Bugscope, which I'm sure many of you might be familiar with. Every month Isa's out there talking, or every week actually, you're talking about different arthropods, often spiders, but not always, often other kinds of wonderful arthropods. And so we were lucky enough to have Isa join us for this event. So cool things that are happening before we get started. Today, we're going to be answering a lot of questions, both ones that came in that you guys might have right now, or ones that were submitted earlier to the AAS Twitter account. We're going to be talking just general cool things about arachnids because there's a lot. I think every time Isa and I meet, we do that, and it's like hours, and we still have cool things to talk about. And my favorite thing that I'm so excited to do this weekend is a BioBlitz. So the entire conference is out right now. All our attendees, or most of them, are out right now trying to find as many arachnids as possible and add them to our iNaturalist project. And we have had quite a few submissions so far. So we're going to be highlighting some of those incredibly impressive. Look at that. 490 observations of arachnids. We are at 160 species. Last year, our record over the entire weekend was something like in the mid 200s. So I think we're on track to really smash that number. And there's actually been a contest where we are guessing conference. If you're an attendee of the conference, type it or tweet at the AAS account or post this at a comment on the whatever service you're seeing this on. The total number of species you think we're going to get over the whole BioBlitz. Whoever's closest to that number without going over, someone declared Price is Right rule, so we got to go with it. Will win a prize. We've got a bunch of really cool arachnid themed art and stickers and various other things that we will mail out to you.
Awesome.
So get your guesses in. Isa, have you guessed already how many you think we're going to get?
I have not contemplated this yet. I will confer with Thackeray here and we will come up with a number.
And see, that's an insider source. I'm not sure if that's
Uh-oh.
allowed.
um, all right, fine. We'll generate our own numbers. To be
Yeah,
careful, I won't
Thackeray
laugh
can
at her.
enter on his own.
Okay, her own, yeah.
Um,
Um,
oh, on her own. Yes, my apologies.
yeah,
Um,
it's tricky. There's 95 current participants, probably more who will join in by the end of the weekend. There are participants from around the world. We had one speaker at the conference from Indonesia yesterday, very biodiverse
yes.
area, who actually is very, I saw his account on iNaturalist, very, very active on
Yeah,
iNaturalist.
his name
He'll
is
give us some thank
Naufal. He
yous.
was. Oh, sorry. That's
No, go
fine.
ahead. Yeah, yeah. I
No,
don't remember his name.
I just want to highlight him. His name is Naufal, and he was actually the number one participant last year. He
Ooh.
absolutely crushed everyone in observing these really cool rare spiders from Indonesia, and that's one of the reasons we actually had him as a speaker talking about iNaturalist yesterday. And for many of you who might have missed that, or who are not attending the conference but are here at the live stream, keep an eye out because we have been recording all of these events and they will be posted on the AAS YouTube page in the coming days and weeks as we get all this recording set up and edited. So a lot of these things that we're talking about, these talks, are going to be there for you to see and enjoy.
Hmm.
Um,
I also wanted to
yeah,
say as a reminder for those of you who are not familiar with HAPS live streaming that this, once again, this broadcast is being multicasted live to the AAS YouTube page and
mm-hmm.
also Facebook page. And so when you comment on there, your comments get sent to us here. So you can still participate in the conversation from those spots, although it's recommended that you come join on HAPS just so you can see everybody else's comments too.
Yeah, that is the one thing is if you're not on HAPS, you don't get to see everything. But wherever you are, please say hi to us. We're really happy to be doing this. I think, Isa, do you want to start off with an observation or a question? Because I've got both for us to look at.
Let's start off with a question.
Okay, so we've been getting a lot of great questions on the AS Twitter account that I will pull up now. So let's start with. All right, this one I think is a good one to start with because we are both here because we love arachnids. And so Alexis Dodson, congrats on getting your master's recently, by the way, Alexis, asks, what are each of your all-time favorite arachnids and why? Now, this is a big question because there's a lot of arachnids out there. We were looking at the numbers earlier today, and Isa, I think you had the count on the approximate number of species we have to choose between.
That's right. So there are over 100,000 species of arachnids. I'll bring up a little chart to assist with
Perfect.
the chat here, the topic. There are over 100,000 species of arachnids that have been described by scientists over the years, and almost half of them are the spiders, and almost half of them are the mites, which is Acarina at the top there. But then there's still like over about 500,000 that are estimated to
Yeah.
still be out there and awaiting discovery.
So that's
So
one of
there's
the
a lot
cool
to choose
things.
from here.
Yeah. Arachnids are actually one of the groups of animals that are like one of the most common new species to be found these days. So our answers might change as new, even cooler species are discovered. But we have to choose one. Isa, do you have a all-time favorite arachnid, or should I go first?
Can we pick a couple of them, or do we have to
Yes.
pick just
Okay.
one?
Top three. Top three.
Sure. How
Okay.
about just,
Top three.
I like to be more vague and say a few of my favorites are. But you
Okay.
can
We won't
go
play
ahead.
favorite.
Okay. Go ahead. You go first.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Um, one of my top favorite arachnids, in part because of its uh, recent potential history, I guess, that's not a great way of saying it, is maybe question mark horseshoe crabs. And that's not because I don't know whether or not I like them, but we don't know for sure yet whether or not they are arachnids. For a long time, people thought that they weren't arachnids, and then there have been a couple of recent studies in the last few years that have got pretty compelling evidence that they might actually be an arachnid that actually re-evolved to live in the water potentially. So I really like the story of an animal that like changes how we understand like the evolution of an entire group. You know, we used to think that arachnids were like there was one ancestor that came onto land, and then from their descendants, those are the arachnids, and there are also other chelicerates, which is the kind of bigger group that arachnids are part of, that stayed in the water, like sea scorpions and stuff like that. And that's where we thought horseshoe crabs were, but this potential change has made that made me have to rethink of how I thought these animals evolved. And I love that sort of thing. So that's one of my favorites is the horseshoe crab. There's like a few species, but I'll group the like 3 or so species together.
Nice. Yeah. I definitely have a soft spot for horseshoe crabs because I'm so fortunate to have grown up in an area where I saw them every summer at the shore in southern New Jersey. But
Oh, that's awesome.
wasn't until later in life that I was able to more fully appreciate them once I learned more about them. Yeah. Um, I'm going to say a broad group because I don't
Okay.
know the species as well, but I do really love pseudoscorpions.
Ooh, yeah.
The order there is Pseudoscorpionida. Is that how you pronounce it, Sebastian? I've never said the
You
full name
pronounce it
out loud, I
however,
think.
yeah. So one of the things that that's been a question that's been asked actually several times in like several of the events that we've had. You pronounce them how you pronounce them. These things are like mishmashes of Greek and Latin sometimes. Um, as long as you spell it right, if your pronunciation is slightly different, that's just how it is. I'm sure that they're like a Latin scholar would say it's this way, but
Mhm.
nowadays Pseudoscorpionida, that sounds right to me, but you might say a little, like inflect a little differently, and that's totally fine.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so I love the way that they hitch rides off of other
Oh,
animals and I guess
yeah.
insects specifically. And I'm like gonna share all the stories I was thinking of sharing at the casual night tonight. So I have to hold my tongue for some of them. But one story I'll share from that is that um, I like kind of discovered that a little bit by accident in a way because there was a
Mm-hmm.
green fly in my room back in college. I was taking a spider biology class at the time with Dr. Linda Rayer. And I caught the crane fly, brought it outside, went back to my desk in my room, and went to go continue working on something. But then I looked at my hand, and there was a little pseudoscorpion on my hand, and I was like, "What
Oh, that's
on earth? Like,
amazing.
where did this come from? It's in the middle of the house, like not seems pretty far away from home." Because for those not familiar with pseudoscorpions, they look like tiny little scorpions, but they don't have like a tail like
We
scorpions do with venom.
we can
And
actually there was a really cool thing. Someone observed a pseudoscorpion as part of the BioBlitz. So
oh yeah,
either
that's right. Oh, there we go. Yeah,
yeah,
here. Okay,
if
good
you
idea. I can
yeah, do you
share
want
my
to put it
screen.
up or
Sure, I'll share my screen.
awesome.
Cool.
So we can actually show these what these animals look like because they're really cool. And I'm very jealous of whoever found this, um, because
Um,
I found pseudoscorpions once before I was an arachnologist. I remember finding one just kind of on a tree, and then ever since I like got became a better photographer and like actually had a camera to photograph them, never seen one since.
wow, wow. Um, yeah, they're super cute. They're super tiny too. Let's
Yeah,
see. Some, yeah. So these are the species that have been found. Not the photos that were submitted, but
if you go to the list of observations, it was one of the more recent ones I remember.
Okay. Cool. Wow, some beautiful observations here. Ah, and even a spider eating lunch or dinner.
I think
Oh, here we
should
go.
be, yeah, right there.
So here's a photograph of a pseudoscorpion
Is that
seen
Greta
by.
Binford's observation?
Ooh, this is in Portland. Is Greta Binford in Portland?
I don't know where she is based, but
I will
that is the
agree with
one Binford
this.
that I know within the AAS, which is one of members of our executive committee doing the work of getting the first representation of this entire order of arachnids in our
Ooh,
BioBlitz.
awesome. Yeah, it's a really cool group, and this one's pretty unique in the way that it's front. It's pedipalps, right? Those are modified pedipalps in the front. What is
I
it? Modified.
believe, yeah, those are the count the legs. Yeah, those should be the pedipalps.
Okay. Are a different color than the rest of its body. That's rather striking. They're not always like that. I'd say it's somewhat unique.
Yeah,
Um, oh, Alexis is saying tiny pinch. Yep, because they're tiny
yeah.
critters.
And they use that tiny pinch to ride on stuff. That's the like it's a tiny pinch, but it is enough for them to like grab onto something that is flying through the air. There it's a lot of fun.
So exactly what Aaron said in the comments above with Foresty. So I
Mhm.
was super confused that day when I found it on my hands, going back to the story. And then, like the next week in class, what do we learn about? We learn about Foresty and the different arachnids and how pseudoscorpions hitch a ride on flies and beetles and sometimes grasshoppers, I think, too. All sorts of other different insects.
Things
Because,
that can travel, yeah.
yeah, they don't have wings, but they are very resourceful animals.
Yeah, it's really fun to have the mental image of like like a fantasy book, there's like someone riding a Pegasus, but it's like a little pseudoscorpion riding a giant crane fly.
Yeah. Totally.
Another really cool thing about this group, since we brought it up, is that they actually can produce silk.
Mm.
So you might associate silk with a spider, and spiders are famous for their ability to make silk and make structures out of silk.
Mhm.
But pseudoscorpions also use silk to create structures. They'll use it to make nests for their babies, to nest to molt in. And their spinnerets are not on the abdomen like on a spider, but they're actually on the tip of their chelicerae, on their little mouth parts. So the mouth parts are like, if you see the tiny little pinchers in between the big, long, beefy arms, that's where those would be. So it's
I can see.
very, I believe those are the two arachnid orders that can produce silk. And it's very interesting that they are not necessarily each other's closest relative at all.
Hmm. Yeah, it's one more example of how silk has evolved independently in arthropods.
Yeah, because there are insects that can use it too.
Hmm.
Um, I'll do a quick pseudoscorpion. One of my other favorite facts about them, since we're here, is that they actually will the moms will like they basically carry their eggs. They have like a brood pouch, so it's not quite like mammals where it's like an internal um um growing of the embryo, but they basically have the eggs on their belly and they'll carry them around to protect them. And
Oh,
it looks really silly because like the massive eggs is much bigger than the abdomen of this tiny female pseudoscorpion. Um, oh, that's right. Of course. Might thank you, Rich Bradley. Might also produce silk. Yes.
oh yeah, of course, spider
Of
mite.
course. Yeah. Every time I forget about that, but of course that's like one of the biggest fields of research in the mite world, of pest control of these spider mites that will produce little silk things all over all over plants as they eat them. Thank you, Neville Park, for reminding me, and Rich,
Yeah,
because I gonna be honest, I forget about mites, and I shouldn't because they're really weird and fascinating. We
they're
actually have some cool mite
the
observations to share.
biggest class in arachnids are the
Yeah.
mite. Also, perhaps the biggest unknown for that matter too, in the way that
Yeah,
there's
that's
so many
true.
species and potentially the smallest fraction of them have been described.
Yeah, so they might end up being one of the most numerous groups of the arachnids once we find all of them, if we find all of them. Hopefully we
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's my turn.
Yeah.
Unless you had something else you want to share about pseudoscorpions, because I mean they're cool.
Well, no, I don't. I was thinking that maybe we can answer some of the other questions
Oh, sure. Yes, absolutely. We've been getting some
for
questions in the
time.
chat.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
a third of the way in too. So
Oh, absolutely. Let's do some. Okay, so I'll go real quick. Another one of my favorite.
okay. You can't help but share it.
I
Do
have to
it.
share.
Do it.
I have to share trapdoor spiders or Lephisius trapdoor spiders. Look how cool they are. Every time they're my favorite, and they have to be shared. I'll just talk about them really quick. They're trapdoor spiders. They're one of the earliest diverging groups of the spiders. So they broke off from the rest of the spider family a long time ago, and they look like a lot of what fossil spiders look like. And they're very cool, and they live in very nicely camouflaged trapdoors. And that's all I'll say about them for now because I love
And
them.
I have to say too that that's a gorgeous photograph, Sebastian, that you took there.
Thank
Is it
you.
your trapdoor spider that you photographed, or is it
Yes,
one
this is
from
one of my pet trapdoor spiders back when they were a little bit smaller than they are now, and they hadn't fully gotten the adult coloration yet. Um,
Cool.
if you come to the casual night tomorrow, which is an event we're having, it's like a arachnid show and tell for a conference. I will be trying to feed them live there. And Isa knows that this has worked before. We did a stream where we fed them, so definitely show that's tomorrow at I believe 8 o'clock.
8 to 10
Casual
tomorrow.
night, yeah. But you're right. Let's get to some other wonderful questions. I know there was one in the chat that came up earlier that getting submitting live, so we can do one here. Let me pull it up. This was from. Okay, I finally managed to scroll back. This is from John Kenneth Neal Whitcomb, who asks, can different spiders breed or create new species like in the movie Arachnophobia? So, do you want to take this one?
I have not seen arachnophobia.
Neither have I. I only know the concept is they basically have like tarantula shaped things with like jumping spider eyes and stuff like that, where it's like these big features from these really distantly related spiders. Um,
Okay.
And it's not quite like that, but actually, different species interbreeding is a really common thing within a lot of groups of arachnids, particularly the one I know about is jumping spiders. And we can take the photo down if I remember how
All
to do
right.
that.
So I put up your photo just for funsies. This one.
Oh yeah, let's put up so
The
that this is
jumping
a wonderful
spider.
logo by T. Francis, our conference logo.
Oh, okay.
This is a
Oh,
jumping
cool.
spider. Um, and in some jumping spiders, there's a lot of hybridization where somewhat closely related species that have males that look really different. Those males, especially in some groups, will just like they will do their courtship dance for like any female that kind of looks like the same species, and like most of the time that doesn't work, but every now and then, um, they will actually be successful in courting that female, and they will mate and reproduce, and they will interbreed, hybridize, and sometimes pass genes and even in some cases like physical traits in between different species. So there's a really cool study by Wayne Madison and a couple other of his collaborators. I think Blackburn is one of the other ones. I can't remember the names. About how like certain features in some groups of some species of paradise spiders are kind of may have evolved at different branches in that family tree and maybe have been like passed or blended back and forth between them due to hybridization, which is a really cool thing that you can actually see it, but it's a thing that happens a lot with some spiders. Even some tarantulas, I know, at least in captivity, can interbreed between different species. And it might happen in the wild if they are in the same kind of general area. So thank you for the question, John. Hopefully that gets to an answer. Do we want to do, let's quick observation and then go back to another question?
Sure. Richard requested that we check out the Euryopsis in the Blitz. So,
Oh, okay. In the iNaturalist?
yes, iNaturalist. So here it is, Rich.
Ooh. Okay.
Observed in Ohio, and looks like she has some silk that she's holding on to there, upside down in the web. Oh, with a captured ant. A little hard to
Oh,
see
very cool.
with the brightness, but I didn't catch that right away. But nice.
Now, if the name sounds familiar, so let me make sure that I get it right, because I know there is are these the guys that do that like crazy ants takedown maneuver? Rich, can you confirm whether or not these are the spiders do the crazy ant takedown maneuver, where they like swing around on the tree bark and like kind of tangle up the ant in like a line of silk? Because I know there's a genus that does that, and I feel like it is the one, but I might be wrong. If it's
Um,
not, there's a cool spider out there that does that. Maybe I am thinking of oocobiids.
yeah,
There's a
I'm
lot of
gonna put
spiders.
Thackeray down because I can use two hands. Makes it a little hard to
Yeah,
navigate.
yeah. So
But
let's
she's
say
been having
goodbye to
fun today.
Thackeray. Thank you for
Bye,
joining us,
Thackeray.
Thackeray.
Thanks for joining us, Thackeray. See you later. We're in the bowl here. Um, cool. All right. Two hands now. Yay. Yeah, she's a very sweet spider that I adopted like, wow, like 8 years ago now, maybe. All right.
Uh, Neville Park wants to know, what does it feel like when she sits on your arm? What do
Oh, okay.
spiders feel like? Is it soft?
Yeah, she feels like if you just took your fingers and kind of put them lightly on your skin, that's sort of what it feels like because the weight is so distributed across the legs.
Hmm.
But then sometimes if there's a little bit of an angle or something, you might feel a little poke from her tarsal claws. Just her holding
Yeah,
on. But um, but it's a very cool sensation that I think is one that everybody ought to experience at some point in their life. Actually, you can see her tarsal claws really well. Let's see if I can show the. Oh, she's gonna walk down.
oh no.
Okay, never mind. I have her in this bowl for. It's an easy way to hold her in the meantime.
Let's see if I can
Okay.
okay, I was gonna maximize you to
Yeah.
so this is a way to contain your tarantula when it is being
Yep.
transferred from its home to screen.
Yep. Ready for dessert? No. Some people eat tarantulas. I don't think I could. I don't think I could eat them because they're just so wonderful alive, and I just would feel horrible.
Yeah,
They're friends, not food to me.
I
So,
agree.
I wanted to ask Rich if you wanted to come and join us on screen to talk about your observation here. I think, is this your observation, I believe? So
I think
I clicked invite and you will now see a button above the comment section that you can click to join us in the studio here if you want to talk about the observation. I'm going to uninstant screen me. And yeah. Hi, Frank. How's it going? Okay. All right. No urticating hairs. She has urticating hairs, but it's kind of beyond the point when she would use them. They oftentimes will use them at first as a first sort of reaction of like, go away. But once she knows that this giant animal is moving her around and that's happening, then she won't. She's kind of past the point of flicking the hairs, unless some other sudden movement happens. So, yeah. The spiders will flick hairs, run away, and then last resort bite is often how it goes down.
Yeah, it's the tarantula playbook. I just put it up on screen, but I'm not sure if Rich can join us. But he did comment, and I'll put it back on about that ant capturing maneuver that apparently several species do, including the one that he observed, where they will basically swing down and like do a circular maneuver to like catch the ant and trap it so that they can bite the ant before it bites the spider. Because ants are pretty gnarly if you're the size of a spider, and spiders are a lot squishier than ants, so they require a special technique. Um, I think we can go to after this observation. There are a couple other questions that came in on
Okay.
Twitter that I want to make sure we get to.
Okay.
Um, I'll pull one up here. Let's see. Okay, this is a really cool question. I believe this is Justin Starr asked on Twitter. Do we know how, when, or why spider eyes diversified as much as they did in terms of number and arrangement? So spiders, typically have 8 eyes, but one of the really cool things about them is that different groups of spiders will have different eyes that are in different places in their head, different sizes, um, eyes that do different things. So, oh, hey, Rich might actually be joining us.
Oh,
Hello.
cool. Yeah. Um, Hi.
Hey, Rich.
I'm
Did
gonna
I
bring you
show
on
up
the
there?
screen. Yeah, here you
Yeah.
go. You're coming on the screen.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
I think we both clicked on it at the same time.
oh, there we are.
Hey,
Welcome.
welcome, Rich.
You don't need a picture of me. Yeah, yeah, so sorry. Took me a
Oh, that's
long
no
time to
fun.
navigate through the system to
Oh, no
actually
problem.
connect. They don't like my internet.
Oh,
Um,
Thank you for joining us.
I think I'm a
yeah.
little delayed. Hopefully you
Oh,
can
so
hopefully you
so
can
that
hear me.
we
Yeah,
can hear
Yeah,
the
we can hear you.
Euryopus is
Go
Euryopus
ahead.
is famous for their amazing lightning attack of ants using silk. When you, at least the species I'm aware of, also do a circular dance around their prey, the ants, making a little tent of silk around them to restrain the ant, which is a potentially dangerous prey. And it's almost exactly the same kind of a dance done by Echobius and the Herceliid spiders in the family Herceliidae, which have those incredibly long spinnerets. They all create a kind of a tent controlling the ant so they could sneak up on it and bite it. At least with Echobius and with Euryopus, they tend to bite them near the base of the antennae, which seems like an almost impossible place to get to with the big jaws of the ant trying to get at you. But if you look at some of my videos online of Echobius, you can see that behavior. They're astounding animals. Ants are really pretty dangerous predators, so it takes a really special spider to take them down.
Yeah, that is a really cool technique.
I
Rich,
was
where
just
could people find those videos so that they can see this awesome behavior?
uh,
President,
um, I
there you
think
are.
the majority of them are not online yet. I was dreaming that they were. I'm thinking of a channel I've created for my class, but I'm realizing now it's not generally available, so I'll have to upload some. But Pancho Acebes has a wonderful project involving what he calls the ant slayer down in Australia, and I think Pancho has some um, videos online, but I don't know the link. So maybe if he's signed in today, he can send people that link, and we can look at them.
Well, if
But
anyone has
yeah,
video of
I'm
this
sorry.
really cool behavior, please uh, uh, message it at us, tweet it at the AS account, and we'd love to share this with people because I've heard it described a lot. I've even seen
Yeah,
it plotted out in a figure step by step, but I've never seen it like happen. So
yeah.
that would be
I'll
great.
try to upload the Ecobius video I've got, which I used in a presentation, and it's It's a little big, so for my slow internet, it'll take maybe an hour to upload it, but I'll try to do that later today and we can set a link to it.
Well,
I'll put it in
awesome.
my YouTube channel.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. We will tweet that out from the AAS Twitter account once it is up there. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing this really cool observation. I think we can. What am I trying to say? If we can move to the right, we had a question. I forgot what the question was. Where was I? Isa, do you remember what the question was? I know we had a question and it was a cool one. But
Sorry, I was muted. It was why spiders have 8 eyes.
Okay. So why spiders have 8 eyes? Yeah. Let me see if I can. And like, when did that evolve? Let me pull up a phylogeny here. If we can hide that and maybe focus on. Can we make the phylogeny a little bit bigger?
Yeah, let me see what we can do here.
Yeah. So, and yeah, there was a related question of why do spiders have 8 legs? So I think some of the why the number 8, I think, is a question that comes up a lot. And that's one of those things where you kind of, why do we have 2 eyes instead of more? I mean, that's because our ancestors did. And at a certain point, like, you kind of become locked in to having whatever number has been working for a while. It's really hard to do these like dramatic changes in body plan once they're kind of, the scaffolding for that is kind of in your DNA. So I think at a certain point, 8 became a good number. It's enough. You can do a lot of stuff with it, but it's not too much where it gets in the way for the ancestor of arachnids. And then they just kind of stuck with it because it's more, at any one generation, it's probably more advantageous to just have the system that works than to try to evolve evolving like more legs, because the intermediate stages of that can be really disastrous, where you have legs that, you need an extra segment to have them, which might push some things out of the way, and it requires really intense mutation. Yeah, so it's like hard to break out of that. This like idea of like evolutionary inertia is my kind of thinking about it. Isa, I don't know if you've got like what your perspective on that is. You're muted. Hold on.
My bad.
Oh, no, wait. I accidentally unclicked you. There we go.
Got it. I was going to say that 8 eyes was more than enough for many spiders who have lost the 8-eye system. Ones like the brown recluse, who have less than 8 eyes, for example, and then some of the cave species who have even fewer eyes. So, yeah, as Sebastian was saying, a lot of it's the luck of the role of genetics, and whatever worked was what happened. So, yeah, but it's definitely an interesting thing to ponder.
One part of that question I think we can talk a little bit about is kind of like the evolution of that, which is why I pulled up this phylogeny. So this is a family tree of different groups of spiders. And a lot of the eyes that we think about as like the weird different ones are things that evolved more recently. In particular, things like wolf spiders, jumping spiders, where 2 of the eyes become really big and have this very different function from the rest of the eyes. For a long time, most spiders, or at least early spiders, had, from what we can interpret based on when they kind of broke off from the family tree, had pretty similar eyes. They were kind of tarantula-like spiders. The ancestors of all spiders were tarantula-like in their body plan. And those spiders kind of have a little cluster of eyes, potentially that evolved from a compound eye that split up, or a set of compound eyes and a set of simple eyes that split up over time into being separate individual eyes. And those, at least in my understanding, a lot of the megalomorphs or tarantula-like spiders have really similar-ish looking eyes. They're typically pretty small. They're typically in the same part of the head. They might be a little further up or a little flatter, depending on the shape of the head. But I don't know too many that have like these radical differences like you see in jumping spiders. It's only kind of later on as more species evolved and spiders moved to different, even more habitats and niches and like different ways of living that you get these evolutions of really kind of the crazy, super interesting eyes. In jumping spiders in particular, the theory that why they have those eyes is that they evolved specifically to hunt web building spiders. So web building spiders have this great sense of feel. You know, they have the web, but most of them have very poor vision. And so a really good adaptation for taking them out is being able to see them from further away than their web, and then you can attack them and plan an attack more easily. So once that became like a thing, that a niche or a way of living that was like an option, then there's selection for like, okay, let's get some eyes for that to get to work to do that better. So as the spider world got more complex, the opportunities for where like more complicated vision was useful grew more numerous, and then that's why we got that. At least that's my kind of interpretation of it. There is a lot of cool research in like the actual evolution of eyes that we won't get into right now, but it's a great question. Thank you to that was a mix between Justin Starr and Alexis Dodson on Twitter about the questions about the numbers 8.
Lucky number 8 for spiders.
Lucky number 8.
And arachnids, I suppose, in general.
Do we want to highlight another
observation?
Observation, yeah. I feel like there's some cool ones that I saw. Like there was one of, since we talked about mites, there's one of a sumo mite, genus Allothrombium, that are always really fun to see. These are the mites that I see the most often, probably.
Okay. Before we do that, let's look at the map of the observation.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
The BioBlitz. So one thing that's so cool about iNaturalist is you can just, for these projects, we can see a map of where observations are coming in from across the globe. So pretty awesome to see what the virtual format has allowed in some ways. It has allowed awesome reach across the globe from, of course, heavily North America, as this is the American Arachnological Society, to parts of Europe, and I can't exactly tell what country this is.
We've got some from Indonesia and Australia. We basically have observations from every continent except Antarctica.
Is that the top of India?
Yeah, that's what. Okay, what observation is that? I really want to know what they found.
That is a marbled cellar spider. Cool.
It's a pretty like common species, if I understand.
Yeah.
I was expecting to be like, okay, it's something I've never seen before, but
yeah,
cellar spiders are all across the world, which is really cool, actually, considering how did an animal get everywhere?
Yeah, totally. And then going back to the map, what was this country over here? Kenya with another cellar spider. Look at that.
I wonder if they're our most commonly observed species.
Let's see. So that's another cool tool about this. You can see the top, and they are, well, if this is a specific family, I suppose. Sorry, I mean a species rather than like cellar spiders.
Mm-hmm.
The higher taxonomic level, but I'm not. This is the most observed over here. This mite. Is this a mite? Petrovia?
Yeah, I think that's a mite right there.
I'm not familiar with that, but it looks pretty cool with those long legs.
And then Tetragnatha following up second, which they're very cool spiders, and I do see them in a bunch of places. Apparently, that is a spider mite, the Petrobia, the one. So,
oh, it is.
The most commonly observed thing is the thing that we forgot earlier in the live stream.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's like really, really high I've never seen them at that high magnification before. I think that's really interesting to see. No wonder they're called spider mites. One, the silk, and then two, those long legs.
Yeah.
Those body proportions. So here's why long-jawed spiders are called long-jawed spiders, for anyone who may be wondering. They have these long jaws, which are often used for mating, during mating.
Yeah, they'll lock those jaws. The males and females will lock jaws during the courtship.
Yeah, and then you can tell this one's a boy, this is a male, because of these the swollen tips of his pedipalps, which are what is used to pass the genetic material to the female during mating. Yeah. Yep. Long pedipalps needed to reach, as Erin is saying. Yeah, and these are often found near streams and waterways in webs, and they're usually upside down on their web, right, Sebastian?
Tetragnathids.
They have horizontal webs usually.
I've seen them have vertical ones too. I think it varies between species, because the Leokage is a tetragnathed that's like under, like, to be flipped like this, so it's belly up. But I've seen ones that are over like streams where the web is more vertical, and they'll be on the side. So there's I think a variety within the group, the family. I don't know about the genus Tetragnatha. Those, at least that body type, are the ones that I often see. It might be that they're just very variable and like they can adapt to different orientations of the web, because some spiders are really good at that. But there are a few, like the orchard orb weaver, which is another commonly observed one there, and those love to hang upside down.
Okay.
Sorry, this is a question about pronunciation that cracked me up. I'll share the comment, because it is a wonderful thing about pronunciation of Latin names, that we all read it differently in our heads, and it's only with events like this that we realize that people say it differently. Leokage. Hey man, that works for me. I just guess.
Nice.
I was always told by our classicists who came for years and years to the meetings that the best way to pronounce that is Lukauge, which has really floored me. I would never pick that as a pronunciation, but that was what Don Cameron, who was an amazing linguist and classicist, has advised us to use as a pronunciation for it. So it's sort of completely different from the Lucage, which is sort of how you would pronounce it, maybe if it was French word, but he says Lukauge. So there you go.
Okay. Hey, Lukage is what some of the experts say, but if you say Lukauge, I'm right there with you too. Let me see if we had any more questions from Twitter to get to. This is a really fun question that maybe a lot of us in the chat can participate, and we can share some things. This is a question from, actually, let me confirm who it was, because I do want to shout them out. Well, I'll say it in a second, but the question is, a lot of us are looking for really cool things with arachnids on them. We want t-shirts with arachnids. We want jewelry with arachnids. We want art with arachnids. Not a surprise, most of the people here love these animals. And Maddie Hannibal wants to know what recommendations you have about artists, stores that have arachnid art and arachnid apparel. There is, I'll start off, the AAS actually has some featured artists as part of our conference. So there is a page on our conference site that I will pull up where we have some artists that wanted to share their art with the conference. And they have a list to all their stores and the types of things that they have. And I've gotten some stuff from some of these, and I can really say others that I've seen on Twitter are really cool. So let me put that link up. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear from Isa, Rich, where do you get your spider stuff? And everyone in the chat, like, if you got a spider artist that you like, shout them out.
Yeah, I have gotten my t-shirts from Thomas Shahan. I have the Spider Eye t-shirt from him and also the Arachnid t-shirt from him. So they're really fantastic. And yeah, do you have that shirt too, Rich?
Yeah, they're the best.
They are. I was thinking like maybe that's something that even like AS ought to include in registration one of the years. Like everyone just gets one of those t-shirts too, or like check it as you sign up for registration to get one.
There was actually the 2016 joint meeting between the American Arachnological Society and the International. The logo, I believe, was done by Thomas Shahan, and it was the one with the solifugid on it. So that he actually, we got him once. So if you were part of that, meeting, you had a chance to get one. I think there's a similar solifugid image on his store, but there's that specific one was a conference special.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm glad that collaboration
Yeah,
happened.
each year there are great conference T-shirts. I mean, this is one from a few years ago. I don't know if you can see it, up in Michigan, and that maybe it doesn't show up terribly well, but it has both a tarantula and a tetragnathed honoring the two specialties of the two sponsors of that meeting. Uh, are my memories. Kara, I'm trying to remember the other woman's name. It's not coming to me now. I'm really embarrassed. But the meetings T-shirts are always chosen by the host, and the art is often excellent. So they aren't all Shahan, but they're all wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And Kara,
sorry, go ahead.
both the two hosts. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for sharing, Rich. Yeah, I know there was one year, I think there was a like Wayne Madison jumping spider shirt that I really wish I could get my hands on, but it was like way before I became an arachnologist. I do want to say that if you loved our conference logo that was done by the incredible T. Francis, let's put that up here. All right, really cool jumping spider. We have a Redbubble account where you can get stickers and mugs with this cool conference logo. Since we're not in person, they will be shipped directly to you. And I will pull that link up in a second. But what I really wanted to do, there was one last question that I think would be great to finish up on. As the cat wanders across it. That's not an arachnid.
I had to move the Thackeray before she came by. But Thackeray is safe in the bowl, and the bowl made it very easy to put her into the cage in a safe spot. So,
there's a question on Twitter from Twitter user Croissant, who had a great question that I think maybe many of us might have on their mind. How do you get started on becoming an arachnologist? From my understanding, the world doesn't train people in the study of spiders. So how do you have to head down to entomology? Do you have to like go to entomology and then make your way to arachnids from there? Like, how does this happen for people? Because there aren't a lot of just straight up arachnology courses. And I don't know, maybe we can talk about our experiences and other things that have gotten people there that we know about. Like, Isa, how did you become someone who knows, who works with spiders?
Yeah, I was lucky to, during my undergrad, have get connected with the spider lab because I went to university with entomology, and I definitely was not planning on getting so into spiders, but the opportunity presented itself, and I took this spider biology course and started working in the lab, taking care of the spiders and whatnot too, and just kind of fell into it in that way. And so I guess being open to the opportunity. And I know that happens with different ways. That's a pretty straightforward, simple way for it to happen, I suppose. And I know it happens in many different ways for different people. But definitely for people who know it's the direction they want to go now, start making connections and exploring what aspects within arachnology like really pique your interest. And then just, I think, being networking and reaching out to people to get more information and see what opportunities are out there is really powerful. And there's so many resources these days online. It's also traveling and visiting places where there are arachnologists or entomologists that are, tangential on arachnology.
Mm-hmm.
So connect, network, connect. And you being here with us today is a great, with AAS 21, Arachnids 21 is a great way to go in that direction too.
Yeah, one of the things I really love about the virtual meeting is that we've had a lot of people who aren't necessarily already arachnologists, but just really love these animals and are interested in it. And because it's virtual, you can attend no matter where you are, no matter if you have like university funding to travel like you normally need to. And so if you're here or if you're just watching, you can see from the AS Twitter account, we are retweeting a lot of our attendees. And once the research talks are up on YouTube, you'll be able to see what research is happening. And my advice for anyone is to email someone you think is doing cool stuff. And ask like, hey, I'm interested in this field. I like what you're doing. Are there any opportunities or do you know anyone who has any? Because a lot of the time, whether or not they may not be in the same place, they may not have an opportunity, but they will know people. Oh yeah, there's an arachnologist in this museum that's like an hour from you or whatever, that might be looking for a student. And that is one of the ways that you find people, because arachnologists are kind of everywhere. Sometimes they're in entomology departments, sometimes they're in like agricultural science departments. We can be spread out. And so going through that network of people through social media, through just reaching out via email, it's really great. And I've seen, that be a way for people to get in. Oh, that's a good point. Paula wanted us, and I'll put it up on screen, to mention we do have a page on the AS website about potential advisors or mentors that have wanted to put their name out there to like advertise that they might be taking students, or they might just be people that we know that have a really great mentoring history. So I would check that out and reach out to these people, because we're never going to be upset to hear that someone cares about arachnids, right? Like, I know that one of the fears is like, oh, I don't want to be a bother. When I get an email, it's like, I like arachnids. Can you help me learn more? Like, that's the best email I get all day, right?
Yeah. And if you don't get a response right away from someone, email them again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
Because we also get a lot of emails.
Yeah. Don't think twice about it. Academia, you get so many emails that you always have like hundreds or thousands of emails that are not checked as like sitting in your mailbox, because it's not even worth just clicking through to mark them as read. For that matter. Rich, do you want to chime in on how you ended up on this path?
Sure. So I actually was an ornithologist. My focus was birds for many years. And when I decided to go back for my PhD, I was going to work on a bird project too. But it turned out that the projects I chose, it was a predator-prey question that I was asking. The birds were not cooperating. They weren't feeding on prey that I could actually quantify. And after struggling with several choices, my advisors on my PhD committee, one of them was a scorpion specialist, Eric Toulson. He said, you should work on scorpions because they eat the same thing as your birds, and you don't need to get any permits to work on them. And they're absolutely dirt common here in Albuquerque. So it was basically a switch from a different model organism for a particular ecological question. But once I got into the scorpions, then arachnids grabbed me, and now, of course, they're a big part of my life. So it's like I got into scorpions because they were an appropriate predator, but once I got in, I got hooked.
Awesome. Yeah. Sounds, I wonder if that's similar with Katerina, because she was telling last night about how she was afraid of spiders. Well, it's different, of course, and then she had an opportunity for a job and she applied for it, even though she was really afraid of spiders. So here she has a fear of spiders too. And then the rest is history. So
There's a lot of people that I've heard that have that kind of similar story of, because there's not a lot of like arachnology specific things that are promoted, a lot of people kind of stumble into this. I also did undergrad research on birds and was like, oh, maybe I'll be a bird scientist, until I had a meeting and I saw a video of a jumping spider dancing, and I was like, wait a minute, that's crazy. I need to know more about that. And so I've heard from other people that, like, yeah, they think they're going to go into something. There's a chance event where they like learn something about an arachnid that's like, wait, what? And then from there you kind of get hooked. Which is a really cool thing about this group of animals, that like they hook you in even despite like possible fears or anything like that.
yeah,
So
they're
fascinating.
fascinating. And once you start to learn about them, you just get wowed with every corner that you turn. So yeah. I'm gonna share, going a little bit back to the question about spider merch and stuff. I'm gonna share that screen of the arachnology page that Sebastian was showing or talking about. So on the AmericanArachnology.org, you can see a bunch of options to click on the artists and check out the offerings, from, as you can see here, luggage to backpacks to books to pins, really beautiful pin by Mary Capaldi, and then the Tarantula Collective, T. Francis, Caitlin Henderson, Arboreal Arts, Aaron McKee, who's here in the chat with us, actually. I recognize that name from here. Vivek Smutter, Catherine Scott with Entomasks, Renee Seagroves, Thomas Shahan, Rebecca Steele, Nick Wilmot Gill, and Renata Wright. And so, yeah, lots of wonderful artwork that you can scroll around and check out. All right.
And I'll put up on screen the link of the where you can get artwork featuring our wonderful conference logo. There's a redbubble.com/people/AAS 2021. You can get it on a t-shirt, you can get it on a mug, you can get a sticker. I might get several of those because I really like them. And so definitely check that out. The proceeds do go towards the society, so anything you go there will help support us doing future events. Really love that comment by Gabrielle. Once you get a glimpse of the arachnid universe, you get hooked and never escape. And okay, here's the link to the mentors. I'll put that up on screen as well. And it is in our chat, the link to a mentor list on the AAS website, which is a great place to get started. The other thing that I'll mention is there are 2 Twitter lists of arachnologists that are on Twitter, which means we're on social media and we're happy to like talk to people. There's one list that I've put together, and then another one that's by one of our very frequent commenters, and actually one of the people doing the live tweeting for this conference, Neville Park on Twitter, who also has another list of it pre-fills it as just saying Twitter, but these are 2 lists of Twitter accounts from arachnologists. And so those are people that you can reach out to, follow them, see what they're up to, message them or tweet at them, hey, I'm interested. Do you know anyone in this area? Are there opportunities, etc. So yeah, definitely connect with us. We're people, we're everywhere, and we love to talk about these animals, as you may have noticed by the fact that I can't stop talking about these animals.
Yes, they are awesome. And yeah. Cool.
We're coming up on our closing up on our our planned stream time at least.
Yeah.
And Isa, I don't necessarily I know you might want to go out and collect some arachnids yourself. But I wanted to end on, maybe we could end with like one last cool observation that we saw
Sure.
in the BioBlitz to get people going.
What to pick with all these cool arachnids? It's hard to pick one.
So there are some cool tarantula observations. Since we started with a tarantula, I think the logical end point of this is that we end with a tarantula.
Right.
And I saw some tarantula observations on the list, and I was hoping you could pull some up for us. Because at least for me, a tarantula in the wild is like a very special thing. Here in Pennsylvania, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so all the tarantulas I've ever seen have been
look-
either on a digital screen, in a zoo, or in my enclosures for my pets.
What should I look up? Megalomorph?
Yeah. That'll
Okay.
get us some cool stuff.
Ooh.
Ooh, actually, we have some non-tarantula megalomorphs too.
Yeah. Look at the map from where they're coming in from. These are all
South and Central America.
South America. Yeah. Shall we go to Costa Rica or Brazil?
Let's see what's happening in Brazil.
Okay.
Especially since it is one of our awesome South American observations.
Oh, look, it's a scared spider, everybody. This is what a shy, scared spider, defensive, or not really defensive, but a scared spider looks like, with its legs all scrunched up together. Actually, I have a spider here live that also is in a scared pose.
Yeah.
Little Joanne Thackeray.
So if you ever see a
scrunched up
a tarantula in a movie and it's doing that pose, that spider's actually scared and it wants to hide from the world. And the way they hide from the world is that they cover their eyes with their legs and become small and nothing can see them because they can't see anything. It's very adorable.
Yeah.
There's a few photos. If you go to the next or second or third photos, you can see kind of the face of that tarantula. You get some nice views of its eyes, which are really cute.
Those beautiful eye clusters, yeah.
And a little bit of the iridescence on the legs in the fourth and fifth photos.
Ooh, that iridescence.
Yeah, so I think those are the foot pads that are being iridescent here. The what tarantulas use to climb on stuff. They've got these cool little foot pads with a ton of hairs. And since those hairs are so tiny, they interact with light in a weird way that makes this cool iridescent pattern.
Yeah.
Don't you have a dolichothele as well, Isa?
Wait. Do I?
You're Brazilian blue.
Oh, yes, I do.
Pretty sure they're a dolichothele.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, that was a. Yeah, she's right over here. I forgot that was the name.
Dolichothele diamantinensis.
Okay, yeah, I do.
Yeah. So there you go.
Look at that.
From an observation in the wild to a captive bred.
Oh, I just scared her. Darn.
Oh, poor thing.
Hopefully her, but she's like down there. You can see her foot. Yay! Her foot gets a minute of fame.
Oh, we see her. Yeah, we could see her hiding in the distance. Again,
There's scary spiders. They're just so they are. I don't know if other people say this, but I feel like they're a teleporting species.
Where they just
moves fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very glad that let's shout out who got this. This is the iNaturalist account Vermel Orana or
Wait,
araña.
oh yeah, this is Wendy's.
Oh,
Wendy's right here in the chat.
Wendy, you're a cat. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Do
realize that was you. I was reading your name.
you want to come up and talk about your observation? I know we
Yeah,
have to
that'd
wrap
be
this
awesome.
up.
That'd be a great way to close this off.
Let's invite you up if you're interested in hopping up. You are invited.
I'll give Wendy a second, but it's really
Yeah.
cool. Thank you for joining us and also finding these cool animals.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, it
Yeah. Very
looks
cool.
like they're setting up their camera, and we are gonna get a quick interview with one of our BioBlitz people on the ground finding cool
Woohoo.
spiders.
Yeah. Excellent. Oh, so this is it sounds like this is a spider that you've been keeping tabs on for a year
Oh,
or so.
that's cool.
Very cool. Yeah. Spiders don't move, for the people who are not familiar, spiders don't move around so much. They don't go far distances. At least maybe some do, but for
Tarantulas
example,
definitely don't.
okay. Yeah, so like Mexican red rumps are invasive. They're non-native to Florida, but they're not a problem really because they're only like in one spot because they haven't gone very far.
Yeah. Yeah, those are,
Versus,
I believe, released pets, if I remember correctly. Yeah, which is an unfortunately thing. Yeah. But once they've established their burrow, so one question that we got in the chat from Welcome to Blue is that some spiders balloon as babies. As very tarantulas do not do that. They tend to be too heavy, and there's only a few tarantula-like spiders that balloon. But usually once they set up their home, unless something catastrophic happens, they are in that tunnel or burrow for the rest of their life potentially. Which is a cool thing because then you can meet a spider and actually get to know them over time if you know where they live.
they're stuck with you.
Oh, okay. It looks like Wendy's might be ready to join us.
Yeah. So yeah. Thanks, Steve, for bringing that up. Yeah. Good to talk. Acknowledge that without the spiders moving around. Alexis is saying, do males tend to go pretty far distances to find mates?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. So what I've been saying so far, I've been thinking of like females and males before they mature. But once males mature, they are traveling. Because the females are staying in place, so the males have to go find the females. But Wedney,
Hi,
let's
Whitney.
bring you up here.
Hey,
Hello. Yo, thank you for
um,
joining us.
Yeah.
I can't see what's happening.
So you, if you're gonna have like two tabs at like two columns. One is the stream, which is gonna be a little bit behind the like column to the right. So if you watch the actual like thing where all of us are on a screen, it's gonna be like delayed, which always trips me up. But
Yeah, it's a little confusing, but
For some reason, I can only see myself. I
oh,
can't see anything
I
else.
don't know.
we
Well,
can see you.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's
we can see you. Yeah.
so I mean, I
That's
I
okay
mean, it's
with you
not a
for
bad
now.
view. So if you
Yeah.
can only see yourself,
yeah.
worst
Yeah.
things have happened.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks
it's
for
fine.
braving hopping on when you're
Yeah.
unfamiliar with this platform. So
Yeah,
kudos.
never
Yeah.
really used this before.
Yeah, it's a new
Um,
platform.
I remember someone asked me where did I get it. I got this little Dolicotili. I was collecting spiders for my undergraduate thesis that I'm still working on, and including I'm presenting a poster on Monday.
Oh, awesome.
So, the poster is up already, so I'm just going to be taking questions. And she was in the wall of the place we were staying in the national park. Um, it's like a little cabin for people who go there to research. And she was like in a little hole in the wall, and I only saw her little paws out, and they immediately the glue like green. I was like, what is this? I never seen this right before. So I was like, oh, she's so pretty. And then I tried to get her out, and she was just so little. I think she was like 3 centimeters only when I got her.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Yeah, she was pretty small.
that's cool. Yeah, really sweet and cool coloration there on this
Yeah,
tarantula.
that iridescence is awesome.
Yeah, I only saw that on Vicularia, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I only saw that on Vicularia before, not on other species or groups.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen it on. I know some other arboreals have a similar like toe pad kind of iridescence. I guess Carabena, but Carabena is very close to Avicularia. But I know some Salmopaeus kind of. It's not. I don't. Mine's not as dramatic, but they sometimes are a little shimmery. But yeah, that's really cool. Have you seen any other arachnids in the BioBlitz so far?
Yeah, in fact, all of the Brazilian observations as of now is still mine. I've
Oh,
got like
awesome.
4
Congrats.
only. I went out around the house and outside as well, but it's quite windy here. It's kind of hard to take good pictures. Um,
Mhm.
I've got a little 2 salticids, Freini, and a Menemerus, which is
Oh, nice.
pretty common everywhere,
Hmm.
and the Dolichotelli and the Lactodectus geometricus, brown widow spider,
Very
which is
cool.
also very common here.
Well, this particular observation is like a really cool one that I like I said before, it's really nice to see just tarantulas in the wild. For me, it's like a special treat. So thank you so much for sharing
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Um,
We had a
Um,
question real quick from Alexis.
okay.
Wanted to know if you have a Twitter or some other social media account where people can find you if they wanted to follow you.
I don't have a Twitter account, but my Instagram is on the watermark of the photos.
Oh, okay, perfect. Maybe I can pull that up. And okay, let me see if I can get the link going.
Yeah.
mm, um,
Oh, I must have typoed it. Hold on.
the observations for the project are at 509 now, with
Oh, wow, we broke
171
500.
species. Yeah,
Okay.
56 observers.
Yeah, I'm thinking of going out tomorrow, looking for some others in the close park that I have here. See if I can find some more species. But I don't know. It's kind of very cold and windy here this time.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
yeah, colder season, right?
Well, if you want to follow Wedney's search for cool arachnids, um, obviously follow the BioBlitz, but I've just posted his Instagram up on screen, where you can check out his photography and a very cute dog, which, despite not being an arachnid, is still here.
Yeah, I
Those
have
pets,
3
they sneak
dogs.
into these. And
Get in
that's
there, yeah.
my cat and then this dog.
I have a similar
Actually,
thing. It's like spider, spider, dog, spider, spider.
yesterday, we were at the discussion happy hour, right? And I was in this happy hour breakout room with Greta,
Mhm.
and my dog saw a little gecko and he was kind of hunting it, and I was like, no, don't eat it. And I left the Zoom open and just went to rescue the little gecko. And when I came back, the discussion was over.
Oh,
Oh.
I also had to run out for a dog emergency because my partner was taking my dog out for like a little short walk, but then they heard fireworks in the distance, and my dog got so
Oh,
scared that she was trying
yeah.
to run back inside, and wouldn't leave the door for my partner to like the door to our building for far enough for my partner to like hit the like little access key card thing, and so they needed someone to come let them in. So I had to run out of the movie screening. Um, to do that. Lots of dog emergencies happening. We have a request to show the dog.
Let me see if I can call them. Be right back.
And Frank says dogs can wear spider costumes. Sneak into the spider world.
Yeah, I'll see if I can make a spider costume for a greyhound. That'll be. They have the long legs for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll take a moment too to add that to echo or amplify Rebecca's comment of don't forget we need help identifying the observations. So there's one step of uploading, and then there's also it's really great for people to take a look at what's found to help with putting together the pieces and getting IDs on these animals. Can we see Flora too? Everyone take out your pets.
Not hear things on my end, but if you guys can, just keep going, and I will troubleshoot.
I can hear you just fine, Sebastian. I think Wedney is frozen for me.
Yeah, I use my phone as a webcam because my webcam is broken. But
oh, there we go.
Here they are. Let me see if I can get them on camera.
Dogs. Oh, look at the dog.
Aww. What's your dog's name?
Oh, so cute.
Welcome to Arachnids. Oh, so sweet. Yeah.
Oh, such a cute dog. Well, thank you, people who came here for arachnids and are staying for the dogs, because you like. Oh, there's another dog.
Oh, look at the colors on that dog. These are cool.
Oh, he's so cute.
Sebastian, is your dog around? Can you bring her into frame too?
I mean, I can see if I can get her. She's probably sleeping right now, but if we want to end with all of the non-arachnid pets, let me try.
I can offer my cat in a box. Here's my cat in a box, everybody. I like what's happening to my box, but making it a box. Welcome to Blue. Hi, Steve is asking, are any spider species bred to sell? Are any domesticated? Do you mean? Sorry, someone's echoing. I'm gonna turn this off to eliminate the echo for now. Okay. Oh, Aaron's saying this is super fun. We should do it like once a month. Guess what, Aaron? Sebastian and I basically do this once a month as sips and spiders with Sebastian and Solage. And you're totally welcome to join, and we can even do this part of it every month if we want to.
Oh, you got the cat in the box
on screen.
Okay, the greyhound has gotten her treat, and she returns to the sunbeam, which is
really
about
nice.
par for the course.
Oh, it's nice to see.
Okay.
As Alexis is saying.
Yeah, that's how it's about. I had to get a treat to get her out of the sunbeam. She came here, got the treat, and has returned to her sunbeam. But I can't blame her.
She's like a cat. She likes to lie in the sun.
Yeah, she's basically like a horse cat. It's basically what she is. Like very little dog. Lots of other things in terms of personality. I think we can wrap it up today because we are now just we're going to dogs, and we should be on arachnids.
Wandering off.
And also I want to give everyone more time to go out and find these animals, or maybe just take a break and come back for the movie night. So quick summary of stuff that's happening from now. BioBlitz still going. Let's break 300 if we haven't already. 300. Oh, let's break 200.
500.
Yeah, 500 observations. Let's break 200 species. We're only at 172. I know we can do better. Let's come back to movie night tonight. So if you're attending the conference, in the conference website, there will be a link to tonight's movie, which is 16 Legs, which is all about the Tasmanian cave spider, which is going to be super cool. Tomorrow's events, we've got at 11 o'clock a public talk by Jillian Cowles, who is the author of one of my favorite arachnid books, Amazing Arachnids. She's actually giving a talk, and that is going to be available for the entire public to see. So just like this, it's going to be a thing that is streamed in multiple locations that you do not need to attend, or do not need to be a conference attendee to get to. And then we'll have poster presentations as well throughout the day tomorrow. The posters are available now. Oh yeah, I did upload images that have this information. Wow. Okay, well, this one.
I also wanted to finish answering the question about, are any spiders bred to sell and any domesticated? And there are no domesticated spiders.
Mhm.
And as the question of, are any spiders bred to sell, you mean like only like in captivity? Is that what you mean? Or you mean like, because there's many spiders are bred in captivity for the purpose of selling them. So
yeah, and that is in the more responsible way to have a pet tarantula, for example, because these animals, tarantulas. So we saw a lot of cool ones today. If you want a pet tarantula, getting them from a breeder that is breeding them from captive animals is the best way to keep the wild population healthy, because tarantulas take a really long time to grow up, and in the wild, not a lot of their kids survive. And so any adult tarantula that you take from the wild, you are taking a huge chunk of the breeding potential of that population. But thankfully, across the world, there are a lot of people who are responsible breeders of a variety of species. That's where Isa got a lot of her tarantulas, that the ones that aren't rescues. Same thing for me. And we've talked about, Isa, we've talked about pet tarantulas in some of our things, but some of our previous broadcasts. So I won't go into it now, but if you have questions about that, you can tweet at me or Isa on Twitter, and we'd be happy to direct you to where we got our spiders and things like that.
all right, back to the events of
yes,
the conference?
yes, thank you. Thank you for the mental direction. Let me spotlight. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So yeah, tomorrow, the public talk by Jillian Cowles, poster presentations throughout the day. And then in the evening, casual night, aka arachnid show and tell. If you're interested in showing something at casual night, send an email to Rich Bradley, who was here earlier. I believe his email is, well, I can pull it up in a second. I'll get his email in a second. Or maybe it will be in your conference information. I apologize, I don't have it at hand. But it'll be in the conference packet or in the emails that you've gotten today as part of, if you're an attendee, send an email, say like, I want to present this sort of thing. It could be a video, it could be an observation, it could be some cool art or photo that you took that you want to talk about. And we'll put that into the show and tell tomorrow night. And so we'll see you there. And thank you again, Isa, for being a part of this. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. Here, let me take away instant screen.
Yeah. Okay, we're back.
Yeah, I'll take away the BioBlitz banner. And remember, there's still today and tomorrow to submit your observations for the BioBlitz, so get those in. I have not submitted my first one, so don't feel discouraged if you haven't participated yet. It's been raining here in Michigan nonstop, and so I finally have a glimpse and an opportunity now. Although you can still find spiders in your home. I did find one, but it ran away. But I'm going to go try
one bathroom spider that I need to figure out a way to photograph because it's like way up there.
We both have our bathroom spiders. Mine was the opposite direction. It was down by the floor heater, and when I went to go take a picture with my phone, it ran away.
Yeah, that'll happen.
It has a web, so I think it'll be back.
Sweet. Yeah. Look inside your house for spiders as well if you can't go out, and post them on the BioBlitz. Thank you, everyone, for all the comments and questions. If we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry, but there was so much stuff to talk about. And hopefully we can do this sort of event again at next year's conference, because this was so much fun.
Totally. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Cheers,
everyone. Sign
Sebastian.
off now. Have a great rest of the conference.